safe streets, vibrant neighborhoods, successful business and commerce. These are things that make a healthy community. We are a diverse community, rural, suburban, urban, a multitude of languages and ethnicities, ages and experiences. We are a collaborative community. Public-private partnerships make us a model community that others want to follow. It is what makes us unique. It is what makes us strong. The employees of Kent County reflect our diversity and seek to serve our communities.
People in this county, in this area, we wrap our arms around each other. We come together to collaborate, to solve problems. We're all working for the good of the whole. And I think that's wonderful. And you can see it. You can see it as you drive around Kent County.
Our impact starts the day a baby is born and a birth certificate is issued, to protecting children from deadly diseases through vaccination, to the public safety and justice provided by law enforcement and the courts, to offering veterans services and caring for the elderly. Every day we work to keep our communities robust.
I think if you are somebody who is interested in serving your community, in building a strong knowledge base and a good group of people to work with, then the county is one of your best employment opportunities out there. It's been completely rewarding in every way I could possibly explain for 26 years, and I feel like I grow every single day still today.
Leading these dedicated employees, our 19-member Board of Commissioners and our County Administrator Controller, along with our elected officials and appointed department directors, placing emphasis on civic involvement, quality housing, vibrant neighborhoods, and strong, solid infrastructure to allow businesses to thrive. Professional, dedicated, collaborative, and innovative.
Behind the scenes, collaboration between foundations, charitable organizations, nonprofits, for-profit businesses, public sector demonstrated through the county, the city of Grand Rapids, the townships, all the cities and the villages in our area. If we don't come together, then we will not have the strength that we have today, and I only hope to build upon that.
Our aim is to make our communities the best they can be. We are involved in exciting development projects, sustainable recycling programs, and creative progressive prevention programming. We partner with elected officials, impacting policy ideas that become great achievements. We seek opportunities to reach out into the community and offer our services to help our residents make Kent County thrive.
Our relationship is solid, both from a staff standpoint at the county level as well as the Board of Commissioners. And they understand what we do and the benefits that we can do for the community, and vice versa. We couldn't do what we do without the help of Kent County.
While most of us are busy running our lives, Kent County's elected officials, administrator controller, and over 1,600 employees are serving the communities where we live our lives, so we can all have a place we are proud to call home. Kent County, its life well run.
Well, good morning. It is Tuesday, June 20th at 8:30 a.m. and I'd like to welcome everyone to the Finance and Physical Resources Committee meeting. Welcome other commissioners and guests, fellow Kent County associates we have in the audience. With that, I'd like to open up with public comment. Is there any public who would like to address the Physical and Finance and Physical Resources Committee this morning? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment. That will bring us to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
In a second?
Support.
Is there any item that needs to be pulled from the consent agenda?
There's nothing here. Big three.
All right, seeing none, all those in favor of passing the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. That brings us to item 3, community development.
This is a request to recommend to the board to approve contracts with Community Rebuilders, Inc. for the Continuum of Care program, accept and appropriate $1.3 million to the 2016-2017 Continuum of Care Fund from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, and authorize the board chair and/or designate to sign the agreements. Part of the Continuum of Care program, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development has awarded funds to Kent County for sponsor-based rental assistance and tenant-based rental assistance for homeless persons. The Continuum of Care program is designed to link rental assistance to supportive services for hard-to-serve homeless individuals and families. The Community Development Department recommends contracting with community rebuilders to administer the supportive housing components of the Continuum of Care program. The contracts, if approved, $413,309 to community rebuilders for SRA housing assistance and administrative costs, and $10,947 to county administrative costs, and $872,113 to community rebuilders for TRA housing assistance and administrative costs, and $22,249 to the county for administrative costs. The period contracts will be from July 1, 2017 through June 30th of 2018. Assistant Corporate Counsel reviewed and approved the agreement as to form.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And support? Discussion, questions? Yes, Commissioner Voorhees.
Good morning, Chair.
Good morning.
Jones. Is this put out to a bid process, or how is this? It all seems to be going just to, or do they just choose one entity here? Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much, Commissioner Voorhees. This has been a historical agreement that we've had with Community Rebuild a long time. And part of the scoring process for HUD is to have consistent, high-quality performers, and Community Builders provides that. So if we were to, to answer your question, we have not put it out for bid, because if so, we may not get the money renewed to our community because HUD knows Community Builders. It's kind of, so our choices are to work with Community Builders or do it ourselves. So at this point, we're best served, in my opinion, to contract with Community Builders for the community to receive the money from HUD.
Thank you.
Commissioner Talon?
Thank you, Chair. Just to add to that, there is a community process for the HUD funding that comes into this community that does evaluate these projects. So they do submit a project proposal and plan each year, and that gets evaluated in the context of all the other projects in the community. And this, I can tell you, this is the work I do in the daytime, that this is one of, as Matthew said, one of the highest performing projects that we have in the community. So it's not technically out for bid, but it does go through a community process where it's evaluated in the context of other providers that are doing this kind of work.
Because they also have rental properties, don't they?
They have a few rental properties that they own and operate, but primarily this money goes to private landlords. They prefer, and we prefer, to work with the private landlords that provides a housing choice for our clients, and it distributes people throughout the community where they want to live.
Thank you.
Commissioner Mast?
Thank you. Is this amount of funds sort of consistent with what it's been in the past, or are they?
Yeah, it's consistent with what it's been in the past.
Okay.
Yep.
What do you think is going to happen next year? Or I mean, a lot of okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
It kind of keeps going.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess another clarification, I guess, this is basically rentals, so the rental that the private landlord gets is based on a HUD specified, so it's not something that varies by landlord to landlord.
There's a fair market rent amount that HUD establishes that we have to live within.
Yeah.
Some landlords may choose to work less than that, and some may choose to work more, but we can only pay what up to what the fair market rents are.
Right.
Okay, anyone else? Thank you, Matthew.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Seeing no other questions or discussions, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We'll go to item 4, also from Community Development. Darrell?
This is a request to recommend to the board to appropriate $79,997 in increased revenues to the 2017-2018 Community Development Block Grant and home programs contingent upon award and execution of a contract. The county is qualified as an urban county, which makes it eligible funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for its 36th year as an entitlement community. As of May 9th, the Department of Housing and Urban Development had not notified the Community Development Department of its final federal appropriation for the 2017-2018 CDBG and home program year. To ensure timely completion of the plan, the Community Development Department utilized a 5-year funding average to estimate its revenues and expenditures. On June 14th, 2017, HUD its final CDBG and home appropriation, increasing the amount by $27,858 in CDBG and $52,139 in home funding. The final application seeks an estimated $2.19 million in funding that includes community development block grants of $1.5 million and home amount of $674,630, and recognizes an additional $45,000 anticipated from the CDBG Housing Rehabilitation Program.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, and we're moved in support. Discussion, questions? Okay, seeing,
Well,
yes,
I think I was just going to look at, this is the one that we basically approved last Finance Committee meeting for approval by our board this Thursday. Now we've got new figures on it. Do we still have two different motions?
The board approved, I believe, in the actual, what we submitted in May, the estimate, and then HUD just finally released its funding that starts July 1, so we wanted to add some money so that we could submit the whole program in one fell swoop, and that would make it easier for finance and us.
Okay, I thought we had dealt with this one time before, but okay. Just to make it accurate.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. So we'll go on to miscellaneous. Do we have Commissioner Miscellaneous? Yes, Commissioner Hennessy.
We're doing community development issues today. I work on a nonprofit board that renovates homes, sells them for home ownership, often works under government funding. And we are having our first ever fundraiser tomorrow, and it's at just buy anything at all at Creston Brewery, and we'll take a portion of the proceeds to help us with development work. And it's called New Development, and we work on the northeast, northwest sides of the city and have done significant work there and are branching out and finding new ways in which we can help people stay in their homes and to promote home ownership.
Excellent. Anyone else? Okay, I think we should do a brief update on the 82 Ionia subcommittee. I'll have Mary come up and work on this with me. So we did conclude the city's work, and if you could share, Mary, where we are and where it goes from here.
Sure. The committee finished their meeting and made a recommendation. They had reviewed an analysis of various options, and the recommendation was based on that analysis. So we will be putting that analysis into a final staff report. I've also received some additional questions from other commissioners since then, so I pulled those answers together as supplemental information. The plan, I believe, is to have a work session on July 13 of the Finance Committee to hear the recommendations and be able to discuss it, see if there's any more questions that the Finance Committee has. And then we would bring a report to the July 20th, no, I'm sorry, the next Finance Committee. I'm sorry, I don't have that date off the top of my head. 18 to the July 18 Finance Committee, and if there, we'll go to the next board.
Okay. So that was the piece of Commissioner Miscellaneous I had wanted to share. Anyone else? Yes, Commissioner Voorhees.
Are there any of those options that you can share with us or not at this point?
Certainly. We could give you the materials that's already gone to the subcommittee, but the 4 options we looked at were to stay in 82 Ionia with just doing the minimal repairs and maintenance to the facility, to retain 80 Ionia and do additional investment in that site to try to expand use of it. But the third option was to sell the facility and try to put the services that are there into existing other county facilities without anything new. There wasn't square footage sufficient for that, but we did go through the exercise and document that. And the fourth recommendation was, or option was a recommendation that was in the space needs, was to liquidate 82 Ionia and build a new facility on the Fuller campus.
So the motion was made by Commissioner Morgan, supported by me for option 4.
Correct.
And Commissioner Talon was also on the committee, so the vote was 2 to 1 on passing it. Commissioner Talon did vote against it, and that's why the recommendation is moving forward, and the plan Mary just laid out will happen next. That's where that ended, but I thought it would be a good addition to miscellaneous to get this shared with the Finance Committee, because it was a Finance and Physical Resources Subcommittee that met. So, any other questions or comments on the miscellaneous piece? Yes, Commissioner Mass.
I don't want to ask questions that I guess are in the report, but we had 3 potential bidders for the project. Did you kind of vet those out, and what are you coming up with a recommendation of which one of those then?
That actually is a decision that will be determined and vetted by staff on which one of those would go, right, Mary, through our purchasing process?
Right. The charge to the subcommittee was to determine whether or not we should move ahead with the process and do all the due diligence on the bids that came in. After that's done, presuming that there's a vote at the board and we move that, we would then bring a recommendation back to the board for which bidder to accept and to sell the building. And then we will also have to come back to the Finance Committee with the final plan for issuing bonds, if that's what people decide to do, but for the financing plan. So there's still a couple of votes as we move ahead, even after staff gets direction to complete the dues and pursue the project.
Well, because I think the decision whether or not we move from the building or not hinges somewhat on what other options we have. And if we've got a good, viable buyer that we really trust is going to use that property. I mean, of the 3 bids that we got, I know 2 of them are, and have a pretty strong feeling about which one I would select. And that will impact my vote on the whole final result, I think. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, the 3 bids have been analyzed in if you want to go ahead and request from Mary the analysis part that we looked at throughout this process, there is a paragraph on what those 3 bids,
and that's
how those 3 bids were summarized. So
okay.
it would be one of those 3. So and that's just what we do know.
Oh wait, okay, but so you've got more detail about intent or not?
Yeah, we shared with the subcommittee the just a
I might be interested.
Brief analysis of the bids. There are some open questions in them that we'd have to pursue. So that's why that would be a separate step after we move ahead.
But my understanding is, even if there was an opportunity to move ahead, that the actual numbers wouldn't change, that you wouldn't be changing. There's negotiation with one of the entities on hiring or on increasing their number,
Correct.
Right?
The bids are the bids.
The bids are the bids.
There's some issues about when the property would transfer, possibly some rental income in there, some closing costs. So the negotiations around other terms, but not the price that they put in for the building.
Yeah, I think the committee would find it interesting to read. The subcommittee had been looking at each meeting. So is that something, can we send that to the committee?
Yes, it'll also be incorporated in the final report, but we can send out what was distributed at the last subcommittee meeting.
And the final report is coming when?
next week. We
Okay.
want to get it to you before the 4th of July holiday, and that should give everyone about 2 weeks to have a chance to look it over.
Okay. So, do you want the stuff prior, Commissioner Master?
that's
Or do you
fine,
want to wait
that's
till the
fine.
final report?
I'll wait for it.
So, any other miscellaneous from commissioners? Any other questions? All right, seeing none, then the last thing I'd like to add is, again, a thank you to our retiring and last formal Finance and Physical Resources Committee for Daryl, who is doing a lot of lasts for the next 2 weeks. So if you want me to autograph your item, because it's the last one you read, I'd be more than happy to do that, so that you have that in your stack, because, I mean, it is his last one, and it's been a lot. I mean, you've done a lot of math. Did you do the math on how many action requests you've done, Daryl? There you go. Now that's autographed.
I'll keep that.
All right, So, with that, we will go ahead and adjourn to the next meeting date of July 18th at 8:30 a.m. Thank you.
Safe streets, vibrant neighborhoods, successful business and commerce. These are things that make a healthy community. We are a diverse community, rural, suburban, urban. A multitude of languages and ethnicities, ages and experiences. We are a collaborative community. Public-private partnerships make us a model community that others want to follow. It is what makes us unique. It is what makes us strong. The employees of Kent County reflect our diversity and seek to serve our communities.
People in this county, in this area, we wrap our arms around each other. We come together to collaborate, to solve problems. We're all working for the good of the whole. And I think that's wonderful. And you can see it. You can see it as you drive around Kent County.
Our impact starts the day a baby is born and a birth certificate is issued, to protecting children from deadly diseases through vaccination, to the public safety and justice provided by law enforcement and the courts, to offering veterans services and caring for the elderly. Every day we work to keep our communities robust.
I think if you are somebody who's interested in serving your community, in building a strong knowledge base and a good group of people to work with, then the county is one of your best employment opportunities out there. It's been completely rewarding in every way I could possibly explain for 26 years, and I feel like I grow every single day still today.
Leading these dedicated employees, our 19-member Board of Commissioners and our County Administrator Controller, along with our elected officials and appointed department directors, placing emphasis on civic involvement, quality housing, vibrant neighborhoods, and strong, solid infrastructure to allow businesses to thrive. Professional, dedicated, collaborative, and innovative.
Behind the scenes, collaboration between foundations, charitable organizations, nonprofits, for-profit businesses, public sector demonstrated through the county, the city of Grand Rapids, the townships, all the cities and the villages in our area. If we don't come together, then we will not have the strength that we have today, and I only hope to build upon that.
Our aim is to make our communities the best they can be. We are involved in exciting development projects, sustainable recycling programs, and creative progressive prevention programming. We partner with elected officials, impacting policy ideas that become great achievements. We seek opportunities to reach out into the community and offer our services to help our residents make Kent County thrive.
Our relationship is solid, both from a staff standpoint at the county level, as well as the Board of Commissioners. And they understand what we do and the benefits that we can do for the community, and vice versa. We couldn't do what we do without the help of Kent County.
While most of us are busy running our lives, Kent County's elected officials, administrator, controller, and over 1,600 employees are serving the communities where we live our lives, so we can all have a place we are proud to call home. Kent County, its life well run.